I'm going to review a Vevor mag drill, and let me tell you, this thing looks impressive. The one I'm going to show you I think is going to be perfect for my needs, but it'll also be perfect for any garage setup, and it's so much easier than trying to drill this stuff out with a hand drill. Saves a ton of time, and it'll also save you bits. But let me quit talking, let's go ahead and walk around and let me show you this thing. It's pretty impressive. Well, the first thing I want to show you is what it actually comes in. This is a heavy cardboard box. This is like 1/2 inch corrugated, honeycomb, whatever you want to call that stuff, but it's rigid. And as you can see, it got here in mint condition. This is it right here. This thing weighs in roughly 30 pounds, give or take a pound. And it's solid built, man. I mean, it's really impressive. All right, so now here is the arbor. And what this accepts is a 3/4 annular cutter. You got a hex head set screw here and here, and I'll show you here in a little bit just how that works. And in addition to this, they also sent a I believe it's 16 millimeter or 5/8 chuck for like twist drills. We'll get into all that here in a bit. I'm just giving you just a quick rundown of the outside. This is your switch for the magnet here. This is variable speed, on and off. This sliding guide right here is made out of a titanium magnesium alloy that gives it a lot of strength. I've watched some videos where people thought this was aluminum and it would flex. Not the case at all with this. The only assembly you have to do is these right here, screw in. These are your handles. Now, what I got myself in the habit of doing years and years ago to prevent problems in the future is anytime I thread anything in, I use an anti-seize. This is the copper anti-seize. And not only did I use it on these handles, I use it on these set screws. And I'd highly recommend using it on these set screws or some sort of grease, because you'll be using these a lot. Quite a bit. So you want them to be able to really hold up over time, and that's the reason I've done that. So this unit comes variable speed, and that was a must for me, because the size of your cutter or the size of your twist drill is going to determine what speed you run at. So let's turn this magnet on. Oh, and so you know, you cannot turn this on unless you got the magnet on. That is a safety feature. Turn this on, turn this on. All right, that's your lowest speed. Let's pick it up. Wide open. Now check this out. See if you can hear the difference. You hear it pick up? It's detecting a load. This has, let me turn this off. This has load sensing. And they do that on modern drills, and the reason they do that is protect the motor. If it gets in a bit of a bind and a bit of a load, it'll actually electronically pick up the speed on it just to get it out of that bind to where it doesn't damage your motor. And this one has that ability. Otherwise, you would have to actually increase it yourself. But I thought that was pretty slick for a Vevor mag drill. And the reason I say that, man, these things, this one right here is $208 is what it lists for. It does not come with any cutters or any bits, but it's $208. And when you register Vevor, you know, like give them your email and come up with a password and username and all that, it's all free. You can get this for $158. Man, I can't believe that. I don't even know how they can sell that cheap. I really don't. I mean, it's well built. Nice rack and pinion. Everything about it. And so, you know, when I first got this, Friday I got it, and this was a little tight. This is tighter than what I liked it. So what you can do, let me spin it around. All right, these are Gibbs screws. What it is a nut with a little center screw that takes an Allen wrench. And what I did is I took a 8 millimeter wrench on this nut and I cracked it loose. And while it was loose and while I'm holding the wrench, I backed out this Allen screw about 1/4 of a turn. While I'm holding it, I tighten that nut back down. Did the same thing on all 4 of these, and now it moves very freely, as you can see. And it don't just fall down. It'll fall like from here to here, then it grabs. It's perfect. I'm not gonna mess with it no more, but that's what those are there for. And it's got a nice rack and pinion right here. Tell you what, it's pretty impressive. Now, this always has to be 90 degrees to whatever you're drilling. These levels, I got a level here and a bullseye level up here. You know, maybe. Now it does have, this is in metric. It's got a scale to let you know the distance from the point of the bit to whatever. Something else I probably would never use, but it does have it. The first thing I did when I got it is I took some wheel bearing grease and I went ahead and greased these tracks everywhere I could get. I raised it all the way up. I took a little flux brush and I brushed that grease on real thin. You don't want to go thick, because if it's thick, it's just going to push it up here anyway. If it ain't too much glare, maybe you can see here too. You can actually see the grease. I greased these gears on this rack here, and hey, that's just me. You know, it's preventive maintenance. Do it while it's brand new. Then do it periodically. You know, if you haven't used it in a while, just take care of that. Now, the only thing that I have not showed you that came with this and what you got to add to it, that's this bottle right here. This is a coolant reservoir, and it actually mounts to the other side like this, and we're going to mount that here momentarily. You got these little thumb screws right here, and this mounts. Get one of these started back. Now here is a needle valve. You would open this to start the fluid flowing out, and hang on, there's a hose that came with this. The hose is actually in with the manual. It does come with the manual, by the way. And this just inserts into here. Just push it all the way in. Push it in and it will bite. See, now it won't pull out. Okay. So you can cut your flow on and off with this needle valve here. You put your cutting fluid in here, and I would recommend cutting fluid. Oil is thick, and oil might not want to flow as well. Now, I don't see any kind of a vent hole on this lid, you know, like you would have on a gas can or anything like that. So when you're actually using this, I would suggest either just laying this on top of it to where it can vent, or just take it off. That's what I'm going to do. That way gravity can actually feed this through. But for now, we'll put the lid back on. Now, if you ever use this thing in the vertical, like if you're doing a beam, an I-beam that's straight up and down, then you can actually turn this sideways and drill, or you can do it in the overhead position. You can also drill, but they supply this little safety lanyard here. It's nylon. It should hold this weight no problem, but there's a slot right here, and it comes out the other side, and that's what you would wrap around your beam, post, whatever the case may be, to hold this thing in case it lost its power. It would not fall down on you or fall and break the machine or anything like that. This is mainly for safety though. Now it does come with 3 different Allen wrenches. This is a small one here that I was telling you about that goes on to the Gibbs screws. So it fits right in there. That's what that one's for. This is for your arbor. Now this one, it does fit these right here, but there's no need to ever take those off. But what I think is, most of these models, this one does not, which I kind of wish it did. Some of these models have a hex head bolt that goes in right here. Now they have a double V-track on them. This one's set up a little different, and what that allows you to do on that model is raise this motor all the way up to give you more clearance here if you add this chuck. All right, so here's the chuck. I went ahead and put it on here. Like I said, just loosen these 2 set screws. Make sure it's all the way up in there. And as you can see, you don't have that much distance now with this thing all the way up. That's about 4.5 inches. So it'll accept most bits unless you get into some real long ones. But like I said, I've got a plan for this to where I can actually elevate this, since this one will not let up and down. If this one led up and down like the other ones, I wouldn't have to do anything. It does come with a chuck key, so you know. Get these off of here. Now this is a set that I asked them for because this model does not come with any cutter. So I asked them if they could send me a set, and they have a larger set. But what I like is this set is not in metric. The ones that come with some of these drills are always in metric. These are not. That's 1/2 inch, 9/16, 11/16, 13/16, 15/16. That's 1 inch and 1/16. Now I do need to purchase a 1 inch, a 7/8, and a 5/8. This is just a, you know, it's not a complete set, but they do have larger sets. So here's the one I actually purchased here. This is made by Hogan, another brand that sells these machines and such. But I was able to get these at my local Weldon supply where I buy my argon at, and it came with its own needle. And to my knowledge, this is the smallest one they make as far as the annular cutter goes, and you can see why. Now this, as you're drilling, this keeps pushing down, 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 but you still got a little center hole there. This is the smallest one they make, and then it goes on up, all the way up. And this particular machine will cut up to a 2-inch hole. But yeah, I do got some more cutters to buy. I'll probably just buy them as I need them because they're pretty pricey. Now, if you get them from Vevor, I think with being registered, you can get this one for $66 for all of these. This one pin works on all of them, and it comes with a little Allen wrench here too. But this one alone by itself was $35. So for twice that amount, I get all of these. And like I said, they do have bigger sets. They come in metric or standard. All right, this has a top level magnet with 2,922 foot-pounds of force, or 13,000 newtons. It operates at 120 volts at 1,550 watts of power. What I want to do is go ahead and get this chuck here out of here and go ahead and get in the 11/16 that I need, because I'm going to actually drill some holes on a piece of plate. But I'm actually going to build a platform that I can raise or lower. There again, make sure you go all the way up. Be careful, these cutters are sharp. Oh, and I forgot to mention how this coolant works. Coolant comes in, it runs down. Let me pull this back out. I forgot to put my needle in anyway. Coolant runs down inside the center here. Now it will hit, right around here, and it will stop it. This is acting like a valve, and if you notice, there's a flat side right here. So what happens is, as you go down on your metal, it pushes this up, allows fluid to drip down this little flat side and actually get onto the surface of what you're cutting. I'll demonstrate that here shortly. We're going to drill some holes and actually see how it does. Now, I bought some coolant, ordered this off of eBay. This is made by Slugger, and you mix this 1 part of this to 6 parts of water. So that will go a long way. This is it. I mixed it up yesterday. That's what's going to go into that coolant reservoir. And I've got plenty of this left for future use. And another thing, don't leave this magnet on indefinitely. It's a good idea every time you get through this, cut your magnet off, because it will warm up. And it don't get hot or anything, but it, just for longevity, make sure you cut it off. All right, so our magnet is on. We're lined up. Let's go. Look at that.
Oh, would you look at that? Just look at that.
Man, that didn't take no time. I didn't count it or anything. Probably, I don't know, 30 seconds. And I wasn't bearing down on it either. I was just letting it do its thing. That cutting fluid works good. Look at that smooth, perfectly round hole. That did fantastic. So I went ahead and cut the needle valve off on that. And I just want to go ahead and clean this cutter off. Gonna put it back in there. Very super impressed. Just make sure you lock these down really tight, because that's the only thing holding this in here. Another reason why I put that anti-seize on there, because you are going to put a little stress on these. And so you know, I'm running this is 1/2 inch plate. I'm running right at 2 on this variable speed. It goes from 0 to 10. I'm running just under 2. And that's a perfect speed. When you see those chips coming up in strings like that, you know you're cutting right. If you get little small chips, then you're running too fast. That thing is digging in and cutting, and it's best once you get started, especially if you got a good flow of fluid like I got, is just to cut it all the way through. Don't pick it up and clean it up. Just keep going, because what happens sometimes, you pick it up, you get chips down in there before it fell all the way through, and when that happens, then you could screw up the cut, start getting a lot of scratches on the inside of that cut. But these look fantastic. These are the slugs that it's pushing out, and it's ejecting them no problem. So that's another thing this tip does. It helps you line up. Now there is a little slack in it, so you don't want to force it. You want it just to lower it until it's dead on that hole, and then it helps you line it up. It helps eject the plug, because there is a spring in here that's wanting to send it back down, and then it also acts as a valve for your coolant. So it's doing 3 things. One more hole and we're gonna call it good, man. This will be done. Absolutely fantastic. All right, guys, I think today is the 16th, maybe 17th. If you want to give somebody a last-minute Christmas gift that don't cost a whole lot, ain't gonna break the bank, definitely check this thing out. Now, this would not be a complete review without at least trying this chuck, and I don't expect much for this. There's a lot of wobble in this thing itself. The rest of this, absolutely love, but even though the videos I watched on this chuck, it's kind of a cheap Chinesium type thing, you know, but it will put a hole. If you just need to drill a hole for a bolt and a nut, it'll do that all day long. Haven't used it, but I'm gonna fire it up and you'll probably see the wobble in it. So now keep in mind, this coolant does not work when you're using a regular twist drill, because it's got to be able to go through the center of that cutter, and we can't do that with this. So in that case, I'm using some Tap Magic, and we're going to turn this dude on, turn the magnet on, and just a random hole. I did turn the speed up. Yeah, it's got a lot of run out. Oh, I forgot to even mention that. This is my little setup. This is why I needed this plate. I've got it elevated to where I can use a drill press vise like you see here, and that will allow me to Well, if I get this plate out of here, you'll see. I can use it on either end. I can come in from the sides, whatever. It's a 4-inch jaw on this, but if I had something pretty wide, let's say 6 inches or so, I need to lock in here and the hole was way here, then I could slide it in towards this. You really don't want to slide your actual drill no more than the edge of the metal, because you'll start getting some leakage on your magnetism. So you want to get it to where you can cover a bigger area here. And it's got places you can lock it down with bolts and nuts, but this is a fixture table, so I'll just use these a lot quicker, a lot easier. And all this will come down when I'm not using it. But that's what I need it for. These are 5/8 all threads. Got washers, nuts sandwiched in. And what I'm using for spacers is actually couplings that's made for all thread right here. That's what's giving me my space right here. Now if I need to go up even higher, let's say I had a 2x6 steel 2x6, then I had to drill on the end. I need to get this even higher, even for the annular cutter. All I got to do is take this plate off, add one more, and I can just increase my height. I can double what you see right now. Just a little brainstorm I had, something I can take up and down easily. You know, after getting this piece out of there, that hole really ain't that bad. It might not have had as much wobble as what I was thinking. Looks pretty round to me. Well, I think you got to agree, that's a lot of bang for the buck right there, man. This thing did fantastic. And I was actually kind of surprised with the actual twist drill. I was expecting, I thought it was oval shaped at first until I got it out, and it really wasn't. It could have been wallered out some, because there was some run out on that. But I'm going to be looking for a better chuck for that. But I'll be honest with you, as long as I got annular cutters, you know, that's what I'm going to use. The problem is you can't really step down below 7/16. You know, if I needed to drill 3/8 holes or 1/4-inch holes or whatever, then I'm going to have to use a chuck on that. But I will find a better head. But the rest of the thing I absolutely love, and well worth the price. I don't know how they can do it that cheap. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Russ Jones with Skill Savvy DIY.